want to say a couple of things. One is the content that I'm about ready to tell you is very personal. If anybody's heard me on a podcast, they've heard some of it, but I'm going to try to be as open and candid as I possibly can. It's something that I absolutely believe in. I found out along the way when in life that being vulnerable is, as men, you don't want to be, never let them see you sweat. Don't let them see you sweat. Don't be vulnerable. You know what? There's so much strength in being vulnerable, right? There really is. And so I'm going to do that. But I'm also going to be hard on you because, he talks about your greatness. And because I do care, and because I've experienced it, not just sympathy, but empathy for a lot of things that people are going through, I'm going to be hard on you. And if you don't like it, I'm sorry. But I want you to reach that greatness. And I'm still working on that for myself. And so, I'll give you how about a trailer of my presentation, like a movie trailer. I won't act it out. I'll just tell you about it. I want to tell you who I am, where I came from, how I recovered from this insane business failure, why we started refiners, how people can become refiners, why, all of that. So there's the trailer. I'm going to start with my story because, one of the things that Coach Burt said was be extraordinary, be extraordinary. What does that mean? How do you start off being extraordinary, pushing to be extraordinary? By being ordinary. We all have to be ordinary. We all have to start somewhere. We just don't arrive and go, hey, look at me. I'm Naveen Jain. Look at me. I got billions. Oh, he doesn't do that, right? We're not going to do that. That's not who we are. We have to start somewhere and be ordinary. And so my story is, I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. Always wanted to be a business owner. I've started a lot of different businesses. I've had a lot of misses, right? I start something, doesn't work. Maybe it works a little bit, but it doesn't work as well as I want it to be. Whatever that is. And about 10 years ago, I started my company, not Refiners, that's one of them, but started Caliber Security Partners. And Caliber Cybersecurity, I was all in. I still am all in. I want to be clear on that. I'm all in. And we were doing great. Revenue was up, increasing year after year. Revenue up, right? And we had a couple of things that happened along the way. One of them, we had a contract with a large company. We had 8 people that were on contract there, and their contract ended. And we're told, hey, contract's going to come back up. Just keep your people. We're going to bring them back. A week goes by, 2 weeks goes by, 3 weeks. Start getting nervous. I got 8 people, small company. How do I pay for this? Where do I get the money for this? The contract's coming. Is it coming? And all these things that are just kind of coming down. And so along the way, we were like, well, it's coming. We're told it's coming. We're running out of money. Let's do a few things. And what's interesting is people are like, why did you do that? Like, hey, man, don't judge me for the decisions I made because it seemed like the right thing at the time. There were some dumb things. Let's just be honest about that. We shouldn't have kept those people on. We just shouldn't have. But we did because there was a belief that was going to come. So we start running out of money. What do? Hey, let's not pay the IRS. Let's just stop that. We'll make it up. We'll make that up. And what do? We come back and we say, let's get a loan. Now, I'm not, if you're in real estate, hard money lenders, different. You're in what we do, hard money lenders, whack. Not really. But they wanted to do everything but break my legs ultimately. Fast forward to all of this. We had a business unit that wasn't hitting, wasn't doing what it should be doing. And it became really obvious once all these other things happened. So we had all these three things come down at the same time. My internal accountant sits me down and says, like, we've got a problem. I'm like, no, we don't. Yeah, we do. Look, our revenue's great. We have this problem. We have these problems. And he sat down to tell me about it, and my whole thought is, I'm going to prepare myself to argue my point. And as he goes on and on and on and starts laying it out, I become flush. I'm freaking out. And here's the thing, I'm talking about me. Think about what you would do. Think about how would you react in these situations. $750,000 in debt. Now, if you're Microsoft, you're like, big deal. If you're us, big deal. Big deal. I go home, talk to my wife. Deep, deep depression starts to come in. And I stopped talking to her. I'd go home and I'd sit in this lazy boy chair, turn the TV on, and I wouldn't watch the TV set. And she would talk to me and I wouldn't hear her. And this went on for weeks. And then I'd go to work. And I was like, I've got these employees. I can't let them know that where we're at. I mean, they not that I couldn't let them know, but I couldn't let them know where I was at emotionally. And so I would go to work and I just would be beaten up. I'd be beaten up and I'd drive down the road. Do you want a piece of this? Who's the man? Who's the man? I'm the man. Who's the man? 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 I'm the man. I'm the man. And I'd walk into my company like, yeah, everybody, how's it going? Yeah. You guys ready? Great day, great day. I'd go into my office and I'd go, oh, that was exhausting. Because I was trying to make it so they didn't see everything. Ultimately, you can't hide stuff, right? But the reason why I tell you this is because it was a recovery. People would come to me and say, people that were business executives would say, you should close your doors, file bankruptcy, go get a job, start over. And often people will say, man, you were a warrior because you went to battle and you did it and you paid off that debt and you grew. I'm not, and I always say, look, let's be clear. Let's be clear. I was a warrior that dragged his sword to battle. I wasn't carrying, I wasn't like, huzzah, let's go, man. I'd be like, oh man, here, let's go. Let's drag this sword. And the reason why I say that is because it was just this experience of just, I didn't file bankruptcy because we owed $250,000 to the IRS. The only way I was going to get the IRS paid off is by keeping the company going and ultimately paying it off. My biggest chance of paying that off was my biggest pain in my butt, my company. So I'm like, we go through this whole experience. I go through this deep depression. So in my mind, I went from extraordinary to whatever's below ordinary. And Naveen Jain yesterday said, be careful. Don't label what happened at the moment. And I did. I said, I'm a failure. I suck. My wife would be better off without me, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I wasn't suicidal, but I would sit back and I'd go, man, someday I'm going to be dead and this is all going to be past. But I wasn't suicidal. And it was just this deep, deep feeling of dread. And I couldn't take money out of my company because there was no money to take out. I was out driving Uber. I was driving Uber, and I'm people talk, and they'd be like, "Hey, what's going on? What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a CEO of a company. Like, I got this many employees." They're like, "Wait, what? What are you doing out here?" It's like CEO cab. I don't know. And it was emotionally hard on me, okay? And I tell you this because that moment in time that I judged myself and I said, this is who I am, I'm this failure. I look back now and I'm like, man, that was the greatest experience I've ever had in my entire life because it changed me as an individual. And I've become something better. And now looking back, when Naveen said that yesterday, I went, oh yeah, I did that and I shouldn't have done that. So I'm hoping that I can tell you, I want to give you what really turned it around for me. Because whether or not you are killing it, whether you want to kill it, whether you're an entrepreneur, whether you're a budding entrepreneur, wherever you are, this is important because this is the thing that changes your life. It changed my life. Okay, and you know what? You've seen some amazing speakers, right? I'm an ordinary guy. I'm not, in my mind, extraordinary by any stretch. And so the things that I'm showing you are the things that I discovered along the way. One day I was on my way to work with my wife, and I had all this to-do list. I had to do this, and I had to do this, and I had to do this. And if you haven't figured it out yet from this last day plus, I've got a very sarcastic, very dry sense of humor. And so we're driving with my wife, and I'm like, you know what I need? I don't need to-do lists. I don't need critical tasks. I need opportunities. So I need my life full of opportunities. And I just go on this rant for like 10 minutes. I'm like, oh, look at this. Here it is. It's an opportunity. There's an opportunity. There's an opportunity. You know, I was just being flippant because I was so irritated. I said, I need an opportunity pipeline because the sales guy, sales pipeline, like I need an opportunity pipeline. And we get to the office, park our truck, and I look at her and I'm like, I feel oddly good. I feel really good. And I said, I think I need to make an opportunity pipeline. I need to do that. And I need to get rid of doing to-do lists. I need to get rid of critical tasks. The things I do in my life have got to be opportunities. And so I love it. You know, Yvonne yesterday was talking about planning. Today, Coach Burke was talking about like, hey, these are the things I go to bed and I do. There's a theme, all right? So I'm going to jump in, but I want you to pay attention because this is the part where people are just going to like, oh, well, maybe that's not for me. It is for you if you do it, if you want to do it, okay? Now, the first thing, and I mentioned this yesterday, plans never go as planned. Okay? And the reason why I say that is because so often people are like, I don't want to plan because I do this, and then it doesn't go right, and it goes off, and I just know it's not going to work. So I don't really want to plan, so I'm just not going to do it. Plans never go as planned. My plan that I do, I reset it multiple times a day. Because stuff comes up. I try to avoid stuff that comes up randomly, but stuff happens. Okay? So, I'm going to show you something. Every time I show anybody this, they go, oh, and they get pained. I don't know if it's because they have ADD or because there's too much information to see or what, but this is the opportunity pipeline that I created. So, I'm going to ask you, just hold back your, I'm done, I'm out. I'm gonna go. Okay? Just hold that out. Okay? Drum roll. Okay, so this is my opportunity. Nope. Psych! But I do want to say this, okay? Check that out. The more you plan, the more you follow your plan, the more you'll take action. The more you'll take action on your plan, the more you'll control your life. Do you want to control your life? Do you want to control the outcomes? All right, here comes. Now the drum roll. Look at that. Does that freak people out? A little bit? Okay? I created this. Why? Because remember, I had a business that was failing. My life was failing. I was desperate. Okay? This wasn't set up by somebody who had it all together. It was somebody that wanted to build and get to where he needed to go. And one of the things that I heard from people is that about people on average complete about 40% of their tasks, their to-do items. 40%, like every day, 40%. I'm no mathematician, but I think that means that annually they complete, 40%? Something like that? Is that right? 40? I complete, on average, about 90% now of what I set out to do. Daily, 90%. Weekly, 90%. Monthly, annually, 90%. And I did this at first out of desperation. Now I live this because I have a roadmap, and this is the key part. I have a roadmap to get anywhere in my life that I want to get. Anywhere. Anywhere. And this is the part where I get hard on people, because people say, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do this. And they never get around to doing it. They talk and they talk and they talk. Stop talking. Shut up. Stop using words. Start taking actions. Okay? And this is, seriously, I know that this is hard, because a lot of people are like, but I got dreams. Put your dreams into an action. Okay? So let's break this down, because I don't want people to get overwhelmed and all this is pretty much, not all of it, but most of it's fake. Okay? So let's go over it. I'm going to go over it quickly because I want to make sure that I have time. So up in the top left-hand corner, I have this thing called My Present Is. People love vision boards. I hate vision boards. I hate them. I like action boards. I have action boards in my house. These are the things I'm going to accomplish this year. I walk into the bathroom. It's my health goals. By the way, I've lost over 100 pounds since this all started. Okay? Thank you. It's a goal to get better, to get healthier. I'm not all the way there yet. Everything that I'm trying to do is trying to drag me to something in the future, but I believe in an action board. I want to take action on what I'm doing. And I think it was Yvonne that said mode of action or something like that. And I got something called affirmation, because I don't like affirmations, because I think affirmations are crap. Every day and every way, I'm getting stronger and stronger. Every day, I'm getting stronger and stronger. How about this? Every day, I get stronger and stronger, because today I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to lift. Okay, I put an affirmation with an action, because otherwise I don't really give a freaking crap. Okay? Because I've told myself a lot over the years, dude, you're freaking awesome. And I don't back it up, right? So my present is my ode to the vision, right? These are the things that I'm going to do someday. I want to look up beyond a year. I want to look up and say, what are things going to look like beyond a year? Okay, this is you can tell this is 2020 opportunities, right? This is, not all of it's made up. I'm going to publish a book, did that. One speaking engagement, did that. 10 podcasts, I think I did like 40 or 50 last year. Anyway, these are things. And what I do is I put them in green. When I've completed them, I leave them in green, because I want to be able to see what I've done, right? And it's funny, because one of them was, maybe I changed it, but it was like, I think it was buy a new home on 5 acres and have a farm. And I'm like, man, why did I say, I know it was made up, but I don't want to be a farmer. But anyway, it was made up stuff, right? Okay, so this is my goal, right? This is what I'm shooting for in a given year. And remember, I hit 90% of that. Whatever it is that's on there, I hit 90%. This is the monthly, right? Monthly goal, create refiners programs, seminars, accountability, or the accountability or the action what is it? Advisory boards. Whoop. Okay, AB, this is what I get for trying to do abbreviations. And then red means I didn't do it. It didn't happen, right? Because, remember, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I fail 10% of the time, right? Weekly. That's what I'm going to do weekly. What's on there doesn't matter as much as the process. You guys get that? Right? So this goes up on my board or on my sheet. Everything I'm doing, my day impacts my week impacts my month impacts my year impacts my life. Okay? I did this out of desperation, not because of anything else. Okay? Daily, right? And here's the thing. I don't go to bed until I'm 90% done. If I set goals for myself for the day and it's 2 o'clock in the morning and I'm tired and I'm like, I can't. I'm like, well, hey, who's the idiot? Who's the guy that set that up? It isn't your first rodeo. You should know don't do that much. So I have to do it. I have to get 90%. Because if I don't, I'm not going to hit the weekly, not going to hit the monthly, because everything rolls, right? Daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. And I want to get those goals, right? So that's what I want to do. Now, this is the one people are often like, oh my gosh, right? And I mark down everything. I mark down everything, right? Like Coach Burt was talking about Sunday. He's taking the day off tomorrow. I get my accountability board, and you can see at the bottom of this one from 5 o'clock to 10 o'clock at night, personal. And the reason why I do personal is because sometimes on Sundays, if I'm taking a break, I make up my accountability or my opportunity pipeline, and I go in and I start working. And I'm like, what do I have to do now? Because automatically I go to this. I'm like, personal. I'm not supposed to be in here working. I'm supposed to be doing personal stuff. I'm supposed to be taking a break. I'm supposed to be doing that. I live this thing. Now, the yellow part is where I grade myself for that for a block of time. Just simply, I just rate it. Okay. Now, this part here, because you saw I had these other things in between them, I don't want to spend a lot of time on them. But I just want to say, I always want to take a note because I saved these things. What did I learn today? Right? Because every day I'm learning something. I want to be able to go back and see that. And then today's success, because you know what? Early on when I was doing this, there wasn't a lot of successes. There was a lot of like, man, that hurt. And I needed to be able to say something happened today. There was success today. What was it? And I need to be able to do it because I can build on that. And then like I talked about, it's my affirmations. Don't get me started on that again. I'm about ready to get on another soapbox and go off on why I don't like them. Just tempted. I'm going to stay back. Okay. All right. So here's the thing. Do you get that? Do you understand why this is so important? It's opportunities. Everything I'm doing is opportunities. Building for opportunities. All right? And I have people all the time say, man, you do so much. You're accomplishing this, and this. How do you do it? Right here. Back in, whatever it was, November, Alan, who I'm gonna bring him out here at some point in time. It's my business partner. And I said, let's do a conference. And he goes, man, we shouldn't be doing a conference. We're too early in the game. I'm like, let's do a conference. Let's just get all the way in there. And this is a lot of work. It's way more work than I thought it was. I had no idea how much work it was. And I say that because without an opportunity pipeline, without the ability to manage every hour of my day, every week, or every hour of the day, every week, every month, every year, I'm not going to accomplish anything. And the reason why I say that is because, when we seek to be extraordinary, when we become extraordinary, that's our new ordinary. And we've got to seek for a new extraordinary. And people will see things that you're doing, and they'll be like, man, you're doing wow, look at this. And I'll sit back and I'm like, yeah, it's not that big a deal because it's my ordinary. Okay. And I'm going to jump off of of all of this. I will say this because sometimes people always wonder. It took us 3 times as long to get out of debt for that company than I thought it would. We're debt-free. We're profitable. We're stronger than we've ever been. The guy that was my internal accountant is the president of the company, and we're doing great. And I'm confident that's the account or the opportunity pipeline that did it. All right, so in order to overcome what you need to overcome, you have to be an excellent planner. Now, you don't have to overcome something drastic like I did. You have to overcome you. You have to overcome your laziness. You have to overcome your procrastination. You have to overcome all of that. You have to overcome your feeling of just how awesome you are. Okay? Because you have to be able to say, I'm going to plan, I'm going to succeed, I'm going to fail, but ultimately I'm going to move it forward. I'm going to do 90%, right? But this quote is mine, but I love it. I turn to it all the time as something I want to, that I want to relay to people. So I'm going to go on because I want to make sure. They shut my timer off, so that means I have unlimited time. I'm good. My timer's gone. It's a beautiful island. There's a beautiful island up here. It's just feel really good. I'm zen. I'm feeling good. Okay, done being zen. All right. So, the history of refiners. One of the things that I started doing when I was going through all of these problems is I was reaching out to anybody and everybody for help and hope. And I didn't find it often. Sometimes I did, but maybe just a little bit. And I would look at it and I would say, I would be vulnerable. I would be open to people. I would go to people and I would say, this is what's going on. And I wasn't like, hey, I'm going to be the Brene Brown of business failures. That's who I'm going to be. I didn't set out to do that. I was vulnerable because I wanted help. Right? Later on, I was vulnerable because I wanted to help. Okay? And so what I found out along the way is I would sit down with a business owner and I'd say, how's it going? It's great. Killing it. Da-da-da-da-da. How about you? Whew. Wish I could say that, but I can't. I'm getting better. We're going in the right direction, but I can't say we're great. And you know what would happen? Oh, that's interesting. Because, I got to be honest, things aren't really that great for me either. And then they'd open up. And then they would tell me what was going on. And so what happened is over time, I started getting more and more people that were coming to me going, hey, things aren't well. Things aren't perfect. Things aren't where they need to be. Well, perfection doesn't happen. Let's just get that out of the way. And I would help them. I would do everything I could because I had lived it. I'd had this experience of these things are hard. I don't have anybody. I don't have anybody I can turn to do this. And that was the start of Refiners. And it started off where I had ultimately the guy who pushed me to write my book. By the way, if I don't say his name, John Avila, the guy's going to pitch another fit because he was like, say my name, say my name. And I was like, dude, chill, man. Anyway, but he said, you should do this. And we found him another person. His business is great, but found him and another person. Got a group, got a second group. People started talking about, like, can you do more? And I said, We got to pull back. Can't do any more because we just can't do any more. We have to grow. And so we started working these groups. And one of the things that's really cool, because people will say, well, what happened? Yeah, because of one of the groups, because of John Avila, he's got your name said twice, John. I wrote that book because that book had been in me for a long time. And that book started when I first got into trouble in the business. And then the book went to when we were done. Okay. But it was because of that advisory board group that in 2020, when businesses were contracting and failing and everything because of the pandemic and because of the down economy, we 3x'd our revenue at Caliber in 2020. And it's because of something that was said to me back in 2019 that shifted the thought of what we were doing in our business. It's a small thing. Focus more in this area. And we did that, and we 3x'd it. Now, I say that because it's, the whole thing with refiners is we're an advisory board, and we're peers helping peers. Okay? Now, one of the things that I often hear from people is, how do I become a refiner? Why become a refiner? And so those are the things that I want to talk about. And I will say this, because of just complete transparency, because I love that. Okay, this is not free. But I believe we've set it up where anybody is in a position to do it. And so I want to get to that. But I just like to be honest, because I don't want people to go like, where's this going? That's where it's going. All right. So I want to tell you, this is, and I'm going to read most of these because I don't want to skip them. An advisory board is a strong team of individuals that can, 1, provide business guidance to help you run your business. 2, help you work through ideas, get a second opinion. And we get lots of opinions. You get more than second, you get third, fourth, fifth. Okay? Expose you to ideas and perspectives you may have otherwise missed. Okay? And this is peers, an advisory board of peers to help you. Be there for you when you have an overwhelming problem. You can read the rest. I'm gonna stop reading. You get it. Okay? We're helping each other grow. And we're getting better all the time, right? I mean, again, perfection, reality. We can improve all the time. We're improving, right? Look at this, what was it, like 6 months ago? Trevor Mawad, if anybody knows Trevor Mawad, who wrote the book, It Takes What It Takes. He's the mindset coach to Russell Wilson and others. It was one of our speakers, and people were like, wow, how in the world did you get Trevor Mawad? And then it grew. I'm sat down with Darnell McDonald, who was going to be here as our final speaker, but couldn't do it because a friend of his at the last minute decided to get married. I don't know. I guess baseball players do that, right? Impulsive. I don't know. But I sat down with Darnell and I sat down with Shay. And then I went, wow, we can do this again. But let's do it bigger. And so here's what I was going to say. I want to talk about this. So I've been in groups, other groups. We're nowhere near this, so don't get overwhelmed by this. Okay. I've heard of groups that do what we do that are $100,000. I heard of one that was $10,000. I've seen all of these. I was in one. It was about $20,000 a year. And it was good. I think we're better, but it was good. So the reason why I say that, the reason why I put this up here is because people pay a lot of money to do what we do. And our goal is to really make this so anybody can do it, okay? And I said, because my humor, because you're special, right? Anyway, we're doing this. This is pretty much what we do regularly. And some of the people that are in the group might be like, hey, No, we're not doing that. We're doing it now. Okay? These are the things: advisory board, group meetings, private refiner. Right now, anybody who's in the refiners community, that's not the private. That's free to anybody. We have private ones, accountability partners. Yeah, you've heard of that, but I mean, we switch all the time, and we're hard on each other to get things done. We're adding mentors. Some of these speakers that you've had are mentors to the groups, special guest speakers. We're going to be doing these twice monthly Zoom meetings. A lot of it's going to be me training. Some of it's going to be other people training. But the idea is to give you content, things that you can take and be actionable on. We want to help people to improve their speaking skills. I know you're probably going, dude, you need to improve your speaking skills. You freaking suck. Well, I got no training, so that's what it is. Okay. But we want to help people be able to present opportunities so you can do that. Now, I will say this. This is not a networking group where it's like we go and exchange leads. We don't do that. Now, sometimes business happens from it, but that's not the intent. The intent is to help you to grow your business. Okay? We're gonna continue to do exclusive events. Okay? Nobody else is going to be invited to them except for people that are refiners. Okay, and of course, this conference will be free. All right. Now, I mentioned this. Our goal is to be accessible to everybody. And when we say everybody, let's talk about who that means. We're talking about business owners. It doesn't matter what size of a business owner you are. A business leader, again, doesn't matter what size the company. Small business owners, entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs. Okay. Now, the last one we're careful about, because what we don't want is people that are wishing and hoping but aren't taking action, because all they're doing is spending, and they're paying money for something they don't need to be paying money for. And honestly, we're going to look at people and we're going to be like, hey, I know you signed up for this, but the timing's not right. Okay, we're actually going to be creating like an incubator program. We may go to you and say, you should probably start with the incubator program, get a little bit of, stuff underneath your feet, and come back, right? So we looked at this, and it's funny because we went back and forth like, okay, that's too little, or whatever. It's too much. We'd go back and forth when we were trying to figure this out. And I'm just gonna tell you how we figured the price out. It had to be something that was reasonable for anybody to join, but it had to be enough to hurt just a little bit, just hurt a little bit. Okay, and I say that because we need people that are going to come in and take this seriously. If we come in at like, hey, $29, you're like, that's just like my Netflix or whatever that I don't ever watch. Okay, so we don't want that. So, drum roll, stupid drum roll, I missed it. I just jumped right in. It's $2.99 a month right now. And I know that sounds like a gimmick. We're not going to keep that open for very long because we don't want that to be our price. And that was a problem because we said, what are we going to do? And, we're going to keep this open for like 48 hours. And then we're going to shut it off. And we're going to go back to a different price. Our original price was $6.99, where we were a month. Anybody who joins will always be $2.99 a month. We're never going to raise that price on anybody. We're not going to be like bait and switch. We're giving people 60 days. If you join and you come back after 60 days and go, man, this isn't for me, for whatever reason, we're just going to be like, here's your money back, because we want people that are going to be successful. Okay? Now, I want to finish up with one thing. After I had gone through all of this, had this experience, I had somebody come to me and say, I wish we would have known each other before you went through all of this, because if I would have known you, I would have been able to help you avoid a lot of the pain that you went through. And I just remember going, wait, what? That's a thing? You could have helped me? He's like, yeah, because I understand the finances of things and how we could have made it so you wouldn't have had to go through that. And so that's a lot of what we're trying to do with the refiners, is we're trying to be that collective advisory board group for each other, where we're able to sit down and say, you have a problem, something's coming up, let's talk about how you can fix it. And it's all about the growth, right? So we celebrate good. That's one of our biggest things, is like, you have to come to a meeting with something that was good. Now, sometimes, everybody's different. Sometimes it's like pulling teeth, get someone to say it, but we celebrate, okay? So, you might want to know how, right? And it's funny because we had this link, and I went, that link's too long. That link is too long. And I think this is going to be put up on the Refiners, the refiners.io website. It may already be up there. Actually, if I remember right, it was put right underneath the video that you're looking at, right there. I think there was a button that says "Learn More." But if you can't find that, bit.ly/refiners conference. Okay, or you can take that QR code and you can get there that way. Because like Steve Sims says, everybody's doing QR codes. Everybody is, all the cool kids. Okay, and then last, if you want to get a hold of me, or if you're like, I can't remember any of that stuff, I forgot it, just tab at refiners.io, or tab Pierce at Gmail, or tab.pierce at Gmail, or tab at calibersecurity.com. However you get a hold of me, or there's always LinkedIn. There's only like 2 Tab Pierces on the planet. Yeah, I know, it's weird. There's actually 2 of us. Okay, one looks like me and one doesn't. Find me if you have questions or whatever, and look it up. But that's us. And you know what? Back to the opportunity pipeline, tabpierce.com. It's there for free. And anybody wants my book, if they want the PDF version, because they're cheap, you can get it for free there. Okay? And I made it that way because I wanted things to be accessible. All right? So I don't know I don't know how to work this thing, so I don't know if there's any questions or whatever. But Ruben, are you supposed to be asking the questions? How's this go?
No,
oh, hey,
Jessica
wants to know, how do you hire the right salesperson? Is that a ha 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 ha? Because she said ha 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 winky face.
Mike told you yesterday that
you hired. Yeah. That obviously is a blow at a shot at me, because obviously I don't know how to do it. I'm a little slow, but thanks, Jessica. Thanks for taking that back. Okay, let's go to James. Are these the questions? I've just lost my number one client that is responsible for about 50% of my revenue. I'm scared. What should I do? Dang, James. I've been there. And there's no easy answer. There's no turn the knob left instead of turn the knob right. There's nothing like that. The thing that you have to do is you have to find a win. You have to find something that's going to be a win in your life, and you're going to have to do something that forces you to be accountable, and something like an opportunity pipeline. So you can say, this is what it's going to take for me to get back that 50% and beyond. And just realize that it's not going to happen overnight, but that you got to step up and you got to manage it, because what's going to happen is you're going to go through some emotionals. You said it. I'm scared. Heck yeah, you're scared. But you know what? Like Coach Burt said, take that fear and just use it to catapult yourself. And don't, like Naveen said, don't make this a mark in time of who you are. Use it to catapult yourself. I hope that helps. This is Tyler. I don't know. Can we scroll that down a little bit, because I can only see part of it. I've been in a past peer group for my business, and I'm looking at a few right now. What should I be looking at in those groups that will bring the greatest value? Accountability, right? I mean, you need people that are going to keep you accountable. And everybody talks about, I have an accountability partner. But you need people that are going to hold you accountable. And sometimes these groups have a chairperson or one person that leads it. I don't like that, because what I want to do is, like in our groups, what we do is we shift your accountability partners every 30 days. And so you're sitting down with a new person, and they're coming at you from a completely new and different angle. The other thing I would say is, look at the value. Always look at the value, because, if you're spending $2,000 a month and they're helping you make 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 or whatever, there's value. There just is. And then that dollar amount becomes less critical. Anyway, I don't have any more questions. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to jump back in. I think this is where Ruben takes over and dances. You dance?
Oh, is that what I do?
Yeah.
Is that what I do? Don't say the word or dance around tab, because you will start dancing. That's all it takes, is just one word.
I'll start dancing. I can't dance, but I'll start dancing.
You know what I will say? Michael Burt, Coach Burt, he actually said that he asked people, 1 to 10, how committed they are on the phone, right? And he does that because every day that passes, they lose the momentum. They lose 10%, right? So my question to you, actually, I do have a question for you, right? What's the number one question or reason that people don't sign up for Refiners? What's holding them back? Because I'm sure that's what they're thinking right now. Like, I should sign up, but
it's themselves. It's a lack of belief in themselves, because they're going to go like, $300. What if it doesn't work? Mm-hmm. It doesn't work because you don't work.
Yeah.
It just is. I mean, it's people don't do it because they don't believe in themselves. And I don't mean that as, choose any one of these things. Choose one of Coach Burt's courses. Choose any of those. People don't do them because they're afraid. They're afraid of the commitment. They're afraid, I'm going to do it, I'm going to lose the money, and I'm not going to get it back because I'm not going to do it because I have a history of not doing it.
Welcome to Refiners. Refiners is an organization of business owners and business professionals that are looking to improve their business and personal performance, just like you. As a Refiners member, you will have the opportunity to build connections with like-minded individuals from your industry. Join our amazing community for free at refiners.io.